Hello everyone, Phoenix61 here with your World of Warships Legends shenanigans. We are rocking Wisconsin today, one of my favorite newer-ish Tier 8 ships, right, for doing premium supplies. We'll take a shot at this Wichita here while we've still got our fighter up. Right, if you've been watching my channel, right, we're using the Arthas build for an inspiration, right, so we get a little bit more damage while the fighter plane is active, right? So, but the duration of that fighter plane is shortened. It works good with Wisconsin because you do get a reload booster as well. So I feel like you can get a little bit more out of him with this ship, right? With this build, so it works really well, and I really love it. We also have 6 heals, right? With we are using the Blue Archive Yoshino Commander. So she also pairs really well as well. So right, we're really capitalizing on synergies here with the build. Of course, I will go through it at the end of the video. We actually have 2 games lined up for you today. So this one ends up being pretty competitive and close. The other one does too, right? But a couple of different situations to kind of go through and talk through and let you know kind of what my strategy is, right? But for now, we will take the whatever cruiser is spotted and is giving us the best angle or broadside, right? So the Brest here and the Wichita, right, are kind of both toying with me at the moment. The Brest does look like he ran aground backing up into that island, so we'll have to see how this goes. We'll hold off on the damage con on the fire here as long as we can, right? Somebody did take out the enemy destroyer, so we may not have to worry about too many torpedoes here. I think there is a Noir, right? There is the new like Pan-European battleship or Commonwealth. I don't remember which one it was, right? But like the people like to do torpedo builds with that thing, so lots of torpedoes. But yeah, Wichita's paying attention, so he's turning away every time he sees us firing, which is the right move. But we're still going to get good chunks of damage out of him just for hitting him, so we'll just keep on it. He's literally the only thing we can shoot at the moment now, so if he wants to keep fire spamming us, he's going to remain detected. And we'll be able to continue to shoot at him. And we'll see how this trade-off goes for him, right? So we'll keep moving forward towards him, right? He stopped firing his gun, so he went undetected. But I'm going to keep pushing up that way. We've got the other ship over here too, this other cruiser. So either one of them gets spotted, we'll be able to go to town. Reload booster will be ready in another 20 seconds here. Take that shot as quick as we can as he tries to back up behind that island. See what we get out of this guy. Nice angle on him though. Oh, we do get pretty good chunk there. 4 pens with a Citadel. So 48,000 damage right off the bat here, pretty early on in this game here. I of course skip ahead a little bit to the first couple minutes of the game while we position. It's not very exciting, right? Especially when I do double headers like this. We got 2 games. So 2 fires from him. I'll use the damage con. We do also almost have another heal ready as well. So we'll start using that, right? I don't save them too much, right? Like, because we get 6 of them, I try and look at how much time's left in the game and try and space out those heals and get the most out of them that I can, right? When we've got this many. See if we can finish him off here. Always a little bit tougher to hit people when they're kind of, grinding the wall like that, but we got away with it there. And then Brest is paying attention to the mini-map, so he starts moving forward here as we get an angle on him. So we're going to have to just keep pushing around and just pay attention to which way he goes, whether we want to cut in or stay outside here. But, like, this is one of those scenarios where, we're hunting him down. We've got quite a bit of health. You could make the argument I should start heading directly towards the Bravo cap here, right? And I think that's one thing I'm going to wish that I had kind of done, but he does start backing up here, so I do think we're going to end up getting away with shooting at him and getting this kill. We shall see. Nope, he's hanging out. He's moving. He's moving back and forth. He's deciding who he wants to kill him right now. Trying to survive as long as he can. Right, but ship count is even. And zone count is even, but they are, the red team dominated over at the Charlie cap, right? So they're going to easily cap that zone, and then they're going to start heading in this direction. So we need to, I'm anxious to get this guy off the board so that I can go in, capture Bravo, you know, I'm looking at the minimap. I've got 3 allies that are right by Bravo on the other side of him. So if I were to cut in, then he would just back up and survive even longer, right? So I need to be the crossfire. I need to be the pinch. So we'll keep pushing out and finally get a shot on him here, right? But this is going to make me feel like I'm out of play. Yeah, we don't even get the kill there, but we maybe were the ones spotting him at that point. But yeah, so now I feel a bit out of play. We've got quite a bit of health, and I need to get, you know, I'm a slow-moving battleship, right? So we need to push as quickly as we can, get back into the zone here and help with this capture and help defend our zones, right? So we're going to move up as best we can, and hopefully they can come in one at a time for us, and we can take them out, right? Ideally. Yeah, we're down. Now we're down on points as well, right there. Now we're down a ship also, and down on points. So we need the zones. Hawk's going to give us a little bit of angle here, so that's good for us. We'll take that shot at him. Pretty epic shell grouping there. Didn't get a lot of damage, but pretty decent shell grouping. I think I maybe could have aimed a little higher. He turned out a little bit, right? Kind of curious how he went undetected there. There we go. Somebody should be able to finish him off, hopefully. Yep. Atlantico got him with the fire, but they reset the cap. So we're going to push in towards B. We're even, almost even on points, and almost even on, even on ships about, right? We're exactly even on ships. 2 battleships, the cruiser, and the carrier for both teams, right? So Noir is out there, right? So he's got those longer range torpedoes. That's the guy I was talking about. So we're going to be a little bit nervous about him. Got torpedoes coming through the zone here. Those might have been from the Hawk. I'm not sure. We'll also have the carrier to worry about here. Got the reload boost going just while we've got it here, while we can. Right, and since he wasn't giving us too much angle, I was shooting HE at him to try and get some fires started on him. And then Massachusetts also low on health here. But there goes our Atlantico, so now we're down a ship again. And we'll have to do a full capture on this zone as well, despite his best efforts there. And we're going to shoot whoever is going to give us the opportunity here. We're going to be loaded with HE. And then I can't decide which side I want the rear turret to be on, so we're going to turn this way and put it on the port side here. Kind of figured Noir would keep coming out, but then he doesn't. Right, and the only things left I have to spot other than me are a cruiser and an aircraft carrier, right? Neither one of which are going to want to do spotting, right? So we'll hang out here while it's safe and get the zone, right? We've got time. We've got 4.5 minutes or so left. Like, we can get this zone and at least get points ticking in our favor, since these guys don't seem to want to be spotted either. So we'll take advantage of that. Here comes Noir. 5 seconds left on the capture. Can we get this? So he's going to get the hits on us. So he resets the cap again there. We'll have a decent angle on him as he comes around the corner here. But he's definitely sending torpedoes at us, right? And super disappointed that we don't finish him off there. Especially with Arthas going. And he's going to reset cap. So that's going to be a challenge for us here. We're still plenty behind on points and down a ship, but we just need a reload here to finish him off. He's going to try and turn to get his torpedoes off on the other side of his ship, right on his starboard side. So we'll finish him off there. Potentially torpedoes coming our way. We just have to keep that in mind. All right, Plymouth's going to be spotted by us now that he's firing his guns. Pretty sure he's got smoke screen, right? So we'll see if we can get rid of him before he starts dropping that. He's trying to angle between, yep, there's the torpedoes. He's trying to split his angling between us and our allied cruiser out there, so we might get a decent angle on him at some point here. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to fire as if we're going to get pens, so... yeah, 4 over pens. Be really lovely if he turns out right. I'm going to use this reload booster, right? This game is a close game. I want to get rid of this guy ASAP. No sense in holding on to that. Fire as they come loaded. We'll trip Arthas here even as well. Right, I think he's got torpedoes also. Right, yep, there goes his smoke screen. But we do get some penetrations with citadels there. Finally, right? So, and we get the zone. Nope, we don't get the zone. So now it's a matter of, right, we're down on points is the problem here, right? So the challenge to this game was, right, the enemy team had the Charlie cap taken over for vast majority of this game. So they're up 40-some points here. And it's just me versus this aircraft carrier who's going to continue to reset on us, right? So we almost need him to be spotted in order to take us out, right? And if he's smart enough, he knows to just turn and bird, run away, and then come at us with his planes, right? He's going to get another hit on us there. So we're going to fast forward through this because this basically becomes a dodge airplanes and hunt for their carrier, right? Even if I get this zone cap, I don't know that there may be enough time here, but he's going to reset it. Nope, we do get the cap there, right? But there wasn't quite enough time, right? Very, very close game if you look at points, right? We just would have needed to have spotted him and then potentially taken him out, right? But it wasn't quite enough, like so close. Right, we were, what, like 6 points away or something there at the end? Yeah, so super close game. We'll take a look at the leaderboard there, but we did come out with the loss. 2,400 XP on a losing game. That is pretty epic. If you think about it, that would have probably put us over the 3,500 mark, right? If we would have won, right? Because you get a 1.5 XP multiplier if you're on the winning team, right? So a little disappointed there. I love those close games, though. Those are the ones that's what keeps me playing here. We'll see if we can have a different scenario on this game here, right? Stalingrad out there. We'll take the shot at him. That's going to get us spotted. That is totally fine. We'll watch our angling from Stalingrad, right? I'm trying to turn away here. We don't want to take broadside shots from him or any battleship that might be out off in this direction, right? We're early in the game. Brisbane would be a really good one for us to shoot at if we can get loaded here before he goes dark. We'll aim as best we can. We do have Arthas up still. Those bullets should make it there before the plane comes down. And good chunk of damage there, but no citadels. But that puts us right. Our first few salvos in the beginning of this game, right, puts us at 38,000 damage. This is such a great damage build on this thing. It's so good with this reload booster and the Arthas. I'd argue it's not a full damage build. You'd probably want to use Agilane, New Jersey, right? Which would be good too, but you'd be getting, a little bit. I think our reload's going to be a little bit better. We've got fully packed for the legendary perk, right? So it's a little bit different, right? But it's so great to be able to get so much damage early on in the game here. Shimikaze, we will shoot at him if he's still spotted when we get loaded, but it looks like he's going to duck around the corner there. And then we've got another Noir out there, right? People are doing pretty good with that ship. I think everyone kind of thought it was going to suck, and I'm seeing people doing pretty good with it. So Brisbane, I would argue, is probably pushing up a little bit too much, a little too early in the game for a cruiser to be up that far, especially of the Brisbane variety, right? Shimikaze's getting himself. Oh, Andy's must be rocking. Well, it could be. No, Stalingrad's too far back, right? So that must be Brisbane's radar too. So he's not even using smokescreen. I'm surprised he survived this long, to be honest. Yeah, he's also got lots of torpedoes too, so he's probably trying to do circles and send torps. And then yeah, he ran into the island, right? So we overshot. So the smart thing for me to have done there, right, would be to wait for him to run aground. I just wasn't sure he was going to, right? Wait for him to actually hit the island and then take your shot. Your aim, especially your like automatic aim when you zoom in, it's going to give you a way better idea of where he's going if you wait for them to actually run aground, right? So we probably could have taken him out with that last salvo if we would have just been a little bit more patient. And so then we miss out on the kill there because somebody else got him, right? So that would have been the appropriate way, the correct way to do that, right? Wait for him to run into the island. Stalingrad's still out there kind of bow tanking, and then we do have to worry about the Shimikaze as well. That's kind of what's preventing the surviving members on this flank on my team from going in and pushing up on the zone. We have to worry about that Shimikaze. We can't push into a destroyer that can send 15 torpedoes at a time that do epic amounts of damage, right? So we'll have to stay and hang back and be cautious. But we do have some things to shoot at, so it's not like we're completely useless here. So we'll take our pick here. We'll pick on the Nord while he's detected. Got reload booster going, so we're reloading pretty quick here still. Decent amount of damage, and then we can see that Alpha is getting capped, so we know that's very, very likely the destroyer, the Shimikaze, right? So we're going to have to make sure not to maintain course here. 2 Citadel hits. That did a great chunk of damage on him. And I think our cruiser might have him on fire or something, so we might miss out on that kill, which would be fine because now Stalingrad's coming up, trying to support his destroyer. And then this cruiser may have sonar going at the moment, right? Smart player to have sonar going because, well, it's a Shimikaze in the zone. We know that, right? So we may be getting that early detection on these torpedoes thanks to him. And so we can keep pushing around. We do have to suspect there's potentially more coming. And then, now the zone's not getting capped. I'm really confused about that, right? But so the Shimikaze left the zone, right? So, I mean, most likely torpedoes probably not, unless there's some already on the way, might not come through the alpha cap there, like they did previously. Maybe he's moving around the outside, I'm not sure. It's tough to tell. Right, we just don't want to sit in one place too long. And we want to make sure we zig and zag as we get moving here as well, right? So there's more torpedoes. Yeah, so he's going after the cruiser, which is fine. I'm sure the destroyer would rather have the cruiser dead first than me, right? But it just allows us free reign on this Stalingrad, right? We're just watching our angling for the Stalingrad, right? So that's 2 racks. So Shimikaze has 3. Zone's getting capped again, but that could be the Stalingrad, right? But we have been hitting the Stalingrad. So we'll see here, right? If we get as we get hits on the Stalingrad, if the zone doesn't reset very much, we know that Shimikaze's in there too. And so it's, yeah, see how it didn't reset all the way? Or very much, right? So we know Shimikaze's back in the zone. We'll use the heal, right? I don't have a lot left, a lot of heal available, right? But the thing is we still got 4 more charges of it, and we're at 8 minutes, right? We're almost halfway through the game. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye on time and using those, sort of balancing time versus how much heal we have available, right? And I'm going to start turning in. I'm getting nervous about that Shimikaze and what he might be doing. So we're giving up a little bit of angle, which is a little bit risky. But we're both me and this cruiser are picking on this Stalingrad, right? Yeah, so you got a decent chunk on us there, but not too much, right? Wisconsin's a little bit better than, Iowa, because the Citadel sits a little bit lower in the water. It's a little bit harder to get Citadel hits on you. Not impossible, right? But a little bit tougher. And then we're undetected here, right? So that Shimikaze might be moving away or might be trying to sneak around an island, but ideally, this cruiser and I could both go into the zone, so it's kind of when I'm reaching out for support, right? I want a cruiser to help me spot torpedoes or whatever, right? Especially if he's got sonar or radar, to help kind of take this guy out, right? Being on destroyer duty is never my favorite thing to do as a battleship, right? So I go around the outside here, yep, and we did see torpedoes for a second there, right? So I'm like, all right, if he goes that way, I'm going to go this other way, and like, right, it was a perfect call. So this Shimikaze player is sending everything all at once, which I don't ever recommend doing. Like, very rarely do I, if I've got 3 racks of torpedoes, try and space those out, right? Instead of going for this all or nothing. Because, 1, those torpedoes hit really, really hard. You don't need that many to get a kill. But 2, if you can space them out, you can trigger floods on people, and that'll trigger them to use their damage con. And then, next time you hit them with a torpedo, if you trigger another flood, they're not going to be able to put that flood away, right? They're not going to be able to get rid of that flood. So, we are detected now, so we know the destroyer has line of sight on us. So I'll call it out. But we know we got at least a minute or so here left, depending on that Shimikaze's torp build, right? Because we had just seen torpedoes going through the middle of the zone towards the cruiser, right? So we're going to play this smart, right? Don't stand still. Don't sail straight. Since we went undetected there, right? My guess is he's off in this direction where we're looking here, right? So we're going to do a strategic run into this island here, right? Because this is going to throw them off, right? If they're looking at us, they're locked onto us while we're moving this fast, forward this fast, right? Potentially run into this island and completely throw them off, right? And then we'll hit reverse and back up for a little bit too, right? We're trying to gauge when he last sent torpedoes and when he's going to have them loaded here. So now if he has them loaded now, he's going to be sending them right at us. And so we'll back up for a little bit here, right? I just have this, we're just assuming he's off in this direction that I'm looking, right? And then my guess would be he went a little bit further to my right and is behind this island here now, right? So we'll keep backing up for a little bit. Just kind of trying to guess based on when he was last spotted and when he could have potentially sent torpedoes. And if we don't see them, right there they are in front of us. Yep, so we made the right call there to keep backing up for a little bit. And yeah, he sent all 3 of his racks, which, right, if he would have sent one and just waited, right, he'd have more to send, after, and right, so yeah, my recommendation, I fall for it too, right? Sometimes I get antsy and I'm like, send, right? But the smart thing to do, especially in a situation like that, right, would be send one rack and then wait, see what the enemy does, and then send another, right? So we get away with our cheeky maneuver there, running into the island and then going forward. And then we'll start heading towards, right, I'm going to keep these islands in between us and him, right? There's these couple of little islands here. And so we'll move a little bit to the left, move a little bit away, and then start heading towards Bravo, right? Start heading towards the B-hole here and see if we can help cap that zone, right? The game's not won just yet, right? Especially with the Shimikaze out there. We're up a little bit on points, right? About 200, 300 now. There he is. Our cruiser made the right call going that way. Was able to get him spotted. And we'll help out if we can, but he's going to have good... Yeah, he's going to not last very long. I sent the bullets. We'll see. Yep, no, Schlieffen got... Or nope, Schlieffen got our Schlieffen. So, yep, Shimikaze remains out there. And Marco Polo here is going to be our next contestant. And I did trip the reload booster and Arthas, right, as we got the to be able to try and shoot that Shimikaze. But we'll use it on Marco Polo here. And we sent HE, right? We could potentially trigger fires. I switched back to AP though. I was kind of thinking he would turn away from the the cruiser and destroyer that are up above Charlie Cap on my team, but he doesn't. He stays pointed in here. So the second fire, right? I think might have a fire burning on him now. Yep, looks like we're getting damage ticking. So yep, totally fine. Perfect that we switched to AP anyway. And of course he's going to get picked on, right? He's got 2 cruisers and us shooting at him, so he's not going to last long. We'll get this zone cap, and then we're going to fast forward because, well, the Shimikaze player decides he doesn't want to get spotted anymore the rest of the game, right? So either way, it's tough to tell, like, what I would do, right? He looks like he goes and heads towards Alpha to try and cap that zone. So we could we could start heading that way, but there's only a minute or so left, right? So, you could get the zone cap to try and, you probably are going to lose the game, right? You get the zone cap, try and get some extra XP. Or YOLO it and go after another ship or whatever until you're dead. But yeah, he was low on health, so he wouldn't survive long against anybody. So yeah, he got the zone cap. So we'll fast forward. I'm just going to sail away, right? So we don't get, murdered, but it really wouldn't matter either way. We could have pushed in on him and still would have won because we had plenty of surviving allies, right, for the last minute or so. But that does give us top of the leaderboard for that one there. 3,000 XP and walked away with a little bit, good chunk of credits there. We'll go through the build really quick here as well, right? We're using main battery mod here, propulsion mod in slot 2, concealment for slot 3, And then the American ships, right, they get this artillery plotting room for the 10% better dispersion. I almost always pick that. I did bump us up to the legendary, or yeah, we do have the legendary mod on there now, yep. And then, yeah, so we got Arthas the Cold, right? So he's the reason we're using the airplane fighter when we get those hits. So he's giving us a little bit better damage there. She does have this reload time here and survivability for her base trait. Flammable Cannoneer, Dance with Death for a better reload as you're getting lower on health, right? And then Megalomania, and then Master Mechanic, and then Fully Packed, right? So Master Mechanic gives us 2 extra heals, and then Fully Packed gives us another one. So we top out at 6 there. That is going to be our video for the day. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. Really do appreciate it. Thank you. Special thanks to channel members. Something new that I'm doing is throwing your guys' names up here because I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the channel. That's really, really great. And then, yeah, so make sure you go to my page if you're interested in becoming a channel member and seeing your name up here, right? Go do that, but that's something new that I just started doing. But yeah, I try to do Legends videos pretty much every day, right? I try to get one out there every day. So if you are following, thanks again. We'll see you guys tomorrow.